Yo, 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 welcome to another episode of the Draftnerds Podcast. You got your boy here, Matt. We got Coach, and we got that man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Bill Carroll himself, live in the flesh. Well, not in the flesh this time. He was in the flesh last time, but he is here nonetheless. What's up, fellas?
Hey, look, I'm Bill. If
Well,
you Bill, if you don't mind, I'm gonna call you the Ric Flair of football.
Woo!
it's funny.
Right?
It's funny. We just saw we did a show from earlier today from a card shop called Jack's Corner right across the street from the campus of South Alabama. Shout out to Jack's Corner. If you're into cards and memorabilia, sports memorabilia, go make your way over to Jack's Corner. The ownership's really cool, and may even let you do a podcast from there. But they had some Ric Flair memorabilia in there, so if you're into that, if you're into that limousine riding, private jet flying, kiss dealing, dealing,
Rolex wearing.
Rolex wearing, yeah. Make your way over to Jack's Corner, and you can check it out.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So, man, there's so much to talk about, fellas. So much to talk about. We got the Senior Bowl practices wrapped up yesterday. We have the game tomorrow. So, myself, and Bill, we were at the Senior Bowl. Bill is still there in Mobile, and so we have some things that we want to talk to you about as far as guys that what we saw, players that stood out, and just what that means for the upcoming NFL Combine and then the draft after that. We got some new coaching hires. The Ravens have added an OC who happens to be the same age as the starting quarterback. That's just going to be something interesting to talk about, and that dynamic and how that works. Not to mention, we still have two openings that have yet to be filled. Cleveland made a surprise hire. At least it was surprising to me. So let's start there. Let's start with Cleveland. Hiring Todd Monken as the next OC. 60 years old, getting his first shot. Shout out to Todd Monken. I think everybody needs should have an opportunity when they work hard and they're consistent. And he's got the opportunity. Now, how do we like the fit? I'll start with you, Bill.
Well, I mean, when you say fit, how do I say this in a way that doesn't come off as disparaging? The last time the Browns had a true visionary as a coach, it was William Stephen Belichick Jr., right? And just as things were sort of starting to get going, of course, they stopped being the Browns. They uprooted everything and, of course, became what is now your Baltimore Ravens. In the years since the team returned, and, of course, that T-shirt that goes down, I guess at this point, probably about 11 feet down across the pavement, starts with Tim Couch, right? And everything that stems from, that rebooting of the Browns to this very day has been like, for those that read books like Franz Kafka, right, has been a like surrealistic nightmare, right? Where, like in Metamorphosis, right? Suddenly he wakes up and discovers he's turned into a giant bug, right? If you're a Browns fan and that happens to you, you probably aren't surprised, right? I mean, what else could happen to me? Now, what I will say is that Tom Monken is a great teacher of the game. He is a person, I wouldn't use words like maybe like visionary, it's probably too strong a word, but he has a really good sense of how to create uncertainty in the minds of defenders.
Mm-hmm.
What he isn't is one of those guys that creates those like wow mismatch kind of plays like we sometimes see Shanahan do or Mike McDaniels do. He's not flashy, but he is really good at understanding the rules of defenses and attacking that defense's rules and making defenders put in what they call assignment conflict, right? He does a good job of doing that. He likes a lot of high-low. He likes a lot of, I mean, I'll just tell you what Tom Monken does, right? You know better than probably most.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, Cleveland has so many, I mean, where do we begin? I don't think coaching was really their biggest problem anyway. Like, the one thing that we can say about Kevin Stefanski is the guy is a good X's and O's guy. That wasn't the issue. Like X's and O's wasn't Cleveland's problem, right? They have and have other problems, including what they're going to do about their quarterback situation. Now, they can still go after mid-priced veterans in free agency, along with the 14 quarterbacks they've drafted in the last few drafts. So it'll be interesting to see how they sift through all of that. With all that said, Kenny Pickett somehow couldn't rise to the top. That tells you everything you need to know about him. And, Joseph Vincent Flacco, had his moment in the sun there. And, Dylan Gabriel got a chance to be a starter, which is pretty cool for, surfing Kellen Moore, as I nicknamed it during the pre-draft process. Everything they do in Cleveland, even when it looks like it should work, rarely does. So it's difficult to get too excited, to get too high, right? But I will say this. If Monken is given even average level tools and talent to work with, and they're patient, he will at least get them to respectability. I do believe that.
Okay, Coach, what's your thoughts on the Todd Monken hire?
I like Monken himself. Up until even when he was at Georgia, I followed him very closely. Because we used to go to some of their camps and whatnot. So I like him as a coach individually. I like what some of the things that he brings to the table. I like the no nonsense type of stuff that he's going to go get with as well. I think kind of Cleveland needs a little bit of that. But what scares me is roster construction, where they are right now. But that offensive line needs a complete overhaul. Everybody's either a pending free agent or has some kind of health issue. And I think that's everybody except for the right tackle, if I remember correctly. I think both the guards, the left tackle, and even the center. And then you also got one of the premier guys, David Njoku, is up for free agency as well. If you don't franchise tag him or get him re-signed, now we're talking losing, your double tight end sets with Harold Fannin Jr. So I think, not sitting there saying he would be crippled by it, but I just feel like, hey, I don't have viable tight ends. I think that sets them back offensively. And then the next thing is like, what is he going to surround himself with? Because just like Bill was talking about, like, hey, he has certain limitations. I need to bring in other coaches that can help me with that. It's just basically saying, hey, look, take all the ego away from it. I don't know everything. I don't want to do everything. And by the way, I'm a 60-year-old guy. I don't want Cleveland to stress me out. So I need to bring in somebody else to simplify everything. And then now I can focus on one or two pieces of the pie instead of the whole entire pie. But right now, if I had to give it a number out of 10, I'd probably say 5 or 6 out of 10 right now. Because, again, that roster is bleeding right now. And then their financial situation does not look any better as well when it comes down to the cap room. So.
Yeah. I kind of I'm right there. Like it's like blah to me. Like it's surprising because I didn't expect Todd Monken to be a head coach this cycle, especially with all the coaching talent out there. I thought most of the young guys would get the jobs, and for the most part they have. But it just showed that Cleveland really didn't have many other options. I mean, there were probably more coaches that withdrew from their consideration than there were that actually interviewed for them. So that just shows you right there that it's not a very desirable gig.
So question off of that, right? Do you think they were wrong, DC Schwartz? Do you think they wronged Jim Schwartz? Do you think they should have because the reason why I'm asking, right, is because we all look at Cleveland as a whole as like, hey, it's this ball of uncertainty, right? But with Schwartz, it was, hey, if you look at the numbers and you look at the personnel in the draft picks around that particular defensive unit, it was like, all right, man, if we can move the doggone ball up and down the field, we could probably get to 8 or 9 wins. And if they would have done it this year, they could have been in contention for the division. So when it comes down to it, it's like, I think just that alone, like, I don't know how intensive it was or extensive it was when it comes down to, hey, Schwartz, we want to give you a shot to beat the head coach, besides or give him at least give him first dibs, and then now we can say, okay, look, we at least attempted, right? Because now he doesn't want to remain there as the DC. So my question is to you and Bill is like, hey, do we think due diligence was done with the guys that are already in your building?
Yeah. No, I mean the way I look at it is, um, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those situations, man. Like I think Schwartz should have been if you're gonna go with an older head coach, then go with Jim Schwartz. One, he already has head coach experience. Two, the locker room already knows him and respects him. And he just, had that defense playing well. Myles Garrett broke the sack record. Just like, why don't you continue on with the one thing that you did have that was working, right? Build on the strength, right? Your defense was your strength. Your defensive coordinator was probably your better coach. Just go with that, right? Maybe they didn't like his potential hires or his staff that he would have brought in, or maybe work with him, right? To say, hey, Nate, let us help you with the staff. But I don't know. It remains to be seen. I mean, I feel like Monken had a plan for Shador, which is why he got that job, right? I think he probably, because they probably wanted okay, whoever wanted Shador there, and which I heard it was the owner or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably important for them to hear a coach have a plan for him and say, okay, what is your plan for the guys that we already have, our quarterbacks? We got Dylan Graber, we got Shador Sanders. What's your plan for them? Because that's important. They invested draft capital into these guys, and they want to see it come to fruition without having to draft another quarterback this year where there's not many anyway. And Monken probably had a plan for Shador. He probably talked about how he wanted Shador in the Ravens, and they wanted to draft him, and but Shador didn't want to come to Baltimore and be a backup to Lamar. And now Monken gets to draft, gets to coach Shador. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of this had to do with Monken's plan for the quarterback position. I think Coach might be a little frozen down there, and he's live from his hotel room.
You said you hear me?
I can hear you. This coach is frozen. I mean, not coach. Bill is frozen.
Bill? Oh, Bill.
Yeah, Bill's frozen. I ain't mean coach. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Bill's, look at him looking at me intently.
Yeah. I mean, I asked the question, man, because again, it's like that's interesting that you go through all those trials and tribulations and mini camps and stuff to get people ready to go, and then all of a sudden, hey, it's like, all right, man, you're not worthy enough, or if you are worthy enough, I'm not going to give you complete control or whatever it may be. I just thought that was one of the things to for me kind of was setting me back when it comes down to, hey, all right, man, look, we know Cleveland has been a top 5 defense for the last few years, and that guy has been the maestro of it all. So why not? I just thought it would be a no-brainer to say, hey, look, let's promote this guy and then mix him with a younger guy, and then, hey, the sky's the limit. Let's see where we go. So,
no, 100%. All right, so we Monken to Cleveland. That was interesting. Obviously, Jesse Minter, we already talked about on one of our earlier shows a couple of days ago. Actually, I think it was about a week ago. Minter is the Ravens head coach. Now, Minter's now made some moves. He has hired offensive coordinator Declan Doyle. Declan Doyle is a guy who spent last season as the Bears offensive coordinator, 29-year-old. Yes, you heard that right. He is 29 years old, the same age as Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson.
Just crazy to think about, bro.
Yep. And he's a bright young mind that people speak highly of. He knows his stuff. Even though he didn't call plays, he was very influential in the offensive building with Ben Johnson. He spent some time under Sean Payton, so he is a mind that understands the game, and it's pretty cool, pretty interesting. to see the hire. I knew that I said it this morning in one of my spaces. I was like, yeah, I think Doyle is going to be the hire. I think him and Jim Leonard end up being the two coordinators under Jesse Minter, which I think that's a home run. This is it's a great pickup in my opinion to get a young offensive mind that can connect with the players. Right? It's been times where it felt like Greg Roman, Todd Monken, they didn't always connect, socially, right? And just understanding like, okay, this is what these guys like to do. This is where I see, getting the input and being able to have built that relationship. Declan Doyle is going to be tasked with forming a partnership with Lamar Jackson and building an offense around him that takes him to the next level. One thing we always talk about coaches is a good coach can give his quarterback the answers to the test, especially in big games. And it's going to be a challenge for Declan as well because he hasn't called plays and he's youthful, so he's never been in this position before. But sometimes, inexperience in youth could be a good thing because you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know to be afraid in those moments. You don't know to freeze up in those moments because you've never been in those moments. All you know is all gas, no brakes. And you just saw Mike McDonald and Clint Kubiak. They never been in the NFC Championship before. They never been on a Super Bowl run before together. And look what happened with them. They're in the Super Bowl, competing for a Super Bowl. So why can't Jesse and Declan do that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, man, the thing that when I was coaching the offensive side of the ball, there's some things that I just knew, like, hey, from the time of being around different head coaches, the first thing was, hey, do what we do better than anybody else.
Yep.
And if you're a power team or you're an outside zone team or you're an inside zone team, hey, look, we got to be able to do that with one hand essentially tied behind our back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I should be able to do that from the top of my depth chart to the bottom of my depth chart. That's what should happen, right? Then the next thing is, hey, okay, look, how do I mask the next pieces to that particular side of the puzzle? If it's an RPO off of it, if it's a special play off of it, if it's a trick play or whatever, and then how do I start giving the ball to people that help break my tendencies to where it's harder for me to prepare for? So if I've been running this same inside zone with Derrick Henry, now I get the same inside zone look. But then guess what? I'm going to turn around and do? I'm not going to give it to Derrick Henry. I'm going to do a boot off of it, and now I want to give it to a tight end, pass the ball to the tight end up the field. So it's a lot of different wrinkles that you can put together off of that. That's the one thing that I want to see, to where now when people prepare for us, it's not a layup. It's not a, hey, okay, this is what the Ravens are going to do. They're going to do this to you. And once you stop that, now we turn around and we can basically put the Ravens out of their misery late in the game because they haven't adjusted off of some of their tendencies and whatnot. So as long as he does that, I'm cool with it. And I know some people are looking around like, hey, you know what? He didn't call plays or he didn't do that. Look, if you have orchestrated those plays at some capacity, look, you know what the end state of those particular plays are. As long as you can do that and exploit the defense or what the defense is trying to do for you, you should be okay. Now, just like what Matt said, I want to see what happens when it's a division rival as an opponent. We're in their home, and now we need a play. What's the play call going to be? That's the stuff that I want to see. Or we're down 10 points. Hey, what's the tempo you're going to set offensively to get us down the field and get us back in the game? Those type of things.
Absolutely. So, Coach, Bill, we're talking about Declan Doyle, the new OC of the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
As you can see here, I put his coaching career up.
Very familiar with him. He was just here. He was just, I mean, not here where I am, but here where I live.
Chicago. Yep. Right. And he spent 2019 to 2024 under Sean Payton, and then 1 year under Ben Johnson. He followed Sean Payton from New Orleans to Denver. And then spent the 1 year in Chicago under Ben Johnson, and now he's in Baltimore. What are your thoughts? Do you like the fit with him and Lamar Jackson and the Ravens?
Well, I mean, you just got to see him very recently working with, and these are not, just because they're black and can move around a little bit, are not the same quarterback, and they don't even play the same way, but you just saw him working with Caleb here, not here once again, but there in Chicago, where I normally would be. So, and obviously, you saw Caleb's improvement, which is not all due to Declan Doyle, but you saw the improvement And I think most importantly, he helped to take a very complex offense. And I know you don't have time to get into what it is about Ben Johnson's offense that makes it difficult on young quarterbacks. But generally speaking, the quarterbacks that have flourished in Ben Johnson's or similar systems are usually older quarterbacks, usually veterans, guys who've been in the league a few years. For a person who's only been in the league for a couple of years to look as good as they did, as quickly as they did in this offense, I mean, once again, a lot of that has to go to the head coach, but a lot of it has to go to Caleb himself, who clearly has really, really worked hard. But Declan Doyle deserves at least some of that credit. So, assuming that you want to accomplish some of the same sorts of things in terms of, and I don't know what I've never seen Declan Doyle's declaration or spelling out of his offensive philosophy. So I don't know if it's a little bit of what he learned from, working with Sean Payton, and a little bit of what he learned from his time with Ben Johnson, or if he's a guy that's got his own thing, right? I guess I'm going to find that out. I don't know what his approach or his mindset is about, do you want Lamar to truly, fully embrace your pocket guy until everything is on fire and then, or does he want to still make use of some of the planned usage of Lamar's athletic ability? I mean, I guess we'll find all this out, right? So he's never been the guy in terms of designing the actual, like he's been part of delivering what's in the box, but he's never put the box together and put everything inside the box. And that's what he's not going to be. He's been the guy that decides what's in the box, not just the guy who's taking the box and then helping you to understand how to use what's inside the box, which is what he's done up to this point in his career. So we're all going to learn together exactly what Declan himself believes, like where his heart and where his soul lies in terms of how he sees the way to play offense, as opposed to he's been a part, he's been in the meetings, he's been consulted, but now he's going to be the guy that says, here's what we are offensively. And so we'll all figure that out, I guess, as he figures it out.
Absolutely. Here is Declan himself via Ari Mirov from the 33rd team. His interview with Declan Doyle and Declan's his process of how he assisted Ben Johnson and just kind of hearing from him in his own words. So here's Declan.
You are currently the youngest offensive coordinator in the NFL. Granny Dinsky, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago, is right behind you, but it is something that, week one, Monday Night Football, Joe Buck and Troy will mention it. Is that something that you embrace, you tune it out, or use it as fuel? Like, what is your reaction when it just keeps on being brought up?
It really doesn't matter to me. It's kind of one of those things, like the year I was born doesn't really determine how well I can do this job. I'm more focused on trying to be the best for our team, for our staff, trying to do everything I can to put our guys in position to have success. And so it gets brought up. I've been coaching. This is going to be my 10th season coaching. And so I don't really feel very young in it. I feel like I've been exposed to, some football, and I feel really comfortable doing the job. And that's the most important thing.
He doesn't lack confidence. He feels like a guy that's going to say what he mean what he say. He's going to be able to speak, from a place of authority, which is important, right? When you're young, they just want to know what you know, right? They want to know what's your plan for them, what's your vision for us, right? These guys just want to win, and like I said, all they care about is, what's your plan to help us win, right? And Lamar Jackson has been with older, more experienced OCs, and Greg Roman, who's been around for a while, Todd Monken, who's been around forever, and then he gets to do it with a younger guy who hasn't been around for a long time, has been around for 10 years coaching, but he hasn't been in the hot seat, so to speak, as an OC. So that was him on his age. Here's Declan on his the way he helped prepare Ben Johnson, and his contributions to what they do.
As we get into the season, we'll start to really hash out exactly what the responsibilities are. The biggest thing is we got to get a jump start on the tape, me and the rest of the staff, So we'll get a jump start on it. We'll start to prepare the game plan the way he would have when he was the coordinator. He's going to be handling some other responsibilities. And then when he's able to kind of transition back over to play caller, we have organized, the thoughts on how we're going to attack this defense, what kind of plays we want to run conceptually, and then, who do we need to feed the ball to? How is this defense going to view us from, what we're doing, and really set the table so that he can walk in and there's work already done, not he has to start from scratch. So the biggest thing is we're trying to save as much time for him as we possibly can. And obviously I'm spearheading that. I'm trying to orchestrating the rest of the staff, but we got to use our resources to try to make his life not as easy as possible, but just try to set him up for as much success as we possibly can.
What's your thoughts on that, Coach?
Yeah, it's essentially what I just said earlier. When it comes down to taking things off people's plate, the head coach's plate, that's your job. Like if we're sitting there, we're game planning, we get film on Thursday night, and our game is the following Sunday. So my job is to not only just break it down, but break it down to where, hey, the running backs get their piece, the tight ends get their piece, the O-line gets their piece. And then now it becomes a beautiful synergy of all different moving pieces to where now, hey, we're able to formulate a game plan and then go out and execute it. Because I feel like, hey, if nobody is just, hey, I feel like I'm overwhelmed and I'm stressed out, and you're able to game plan and you don't have to stay up until midnight to do it, I just feel like, hey, you're going to be more well-tuned by week 8 if you do that and say, hey, I'm lighting the load for as many people as I possibly can without stressing myself out. The other thing I think it does, it is sort of develops your coaches to do something outside of their position. So, like, for instance, if I'm a running back coach and you tell me, hey, look, all right, man, I need you to identify who are their guys that get the most pressure or gets the most penetration and where do they come from. Those are the type of things that help you develop yourself to where now if I'm an offensive coordinator, I know, hey, look, this is where these guys are going to normally send pressure from, and I know how to call the blocking scheme to take that away. Same thing on the defensive side. If I'm a linebackers coach and I say, hey, look, I don't want to compromise the middle of the field because that's where they're going to kill us. All right, where can I get pressure from with these particular players?
Kind of what Bill alluded to, which I'm excited about for him, is he's going to get an opportunity to run the show, right? Jesse Minter is a defensive head coach. He's a first-time head coach. So he's going to be entrusting Declan Doyle to run the show. And I'm pretty sure that's part of the reason why he left Chicago and came to Baltimore. He didn't go to Philly. Philly wanted him. He withdrew from there. And I think because Sirianni still has input on the offense, Declan would have been the OC, but how much, collaboratively would they have had a relationship-wise? Also think, Sirianni is a kind of a lame duck coach, right? Like he's always like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So he probably didn't want to hitch his wagon to a guy that might be out, Jesse Minter is not going anywhere. And again, the biggest selling point, I'm sure, for Doyle was that it's your show. You're going to be able to run the entire offense. Jesse Minter is a defensive guy, first-time head coach. He's going to have so much on his plate with just being a head coach and then also running the defense that Declan Doyle is going to be over there on the offensive side of the building, and it's going to be his ride, his show.
Right.
So okay, one more video on Declan Doyle. So this is local. This is a local show in Chicago, the Spiegel and Holmes show, and had Cassie Carlson from Fox Chicago Sports talking about the hire, kind of getting the point of view from inside of Chicago, right? From how they feel about it, people who covered the team. Because you always have two sides of a story. You have the team receiving the new coach and their thoughts, and then you have the team that's losing the coach and what are their thoughts. And this is what she had to say.
All week we've talked about just how it's so funny because all week we've talked about just how he withdrew from the job in Philly, but I mean, wow, he's going to be paired with Lamar Jackson. So Declan Doyle, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Declan Doyle, he obviously wants to call offensive plays, and that was never going to happen under Ben Johnson. He has a tree. His tree is from Sean Payton and then also Ben Johnson. With kind of the brain trust around organizing everything at Hallis Hall, and he's a young up and comer. He's got a loaded roster to deal with and a loaded offense to deal with in Baltimore. So yeah, I think that one thing we kept talking about was how important it would be to have continuity around Caleb Williams going into year 2 in Ben Johnson's system. Now they're going to have to find another offensive coordinator to kind of, I say what Declan Doyle really meant to maybe even Caleb and to the media was he was an extension of Ben Johnson and did a really good job explaining things further and going more in depth. And I think everyone respects the offensive mind that he is. And so it was no doubt that he was going to get his opportunity. But after a year, and especially after not calling plays, I'm a little bit surprised that he actually got that job. But he's definitely well respected in the NFL world.
All right. So, from the other side of the aisle, as so to speak, those are thoughts. And it seems like it's universal that Declan meant a lot to that Chicago team, even though he didn't call plays. I think it's a little bit overblown, the calling plays thing, because it's about the game plan, right? You know this, coach. It's about installing. It's about personnel decisions as far as who's on for this play and who's on for that play, who's off. And when we go, into this formation, it's about helping Ben Johnson put together the game plan. Who calls the plays is irrelevant. Like that doesn't make like if me, coach, me, you, and Bill, we're sitting there and we're running an offense, and all week we're installing and we are putting in the plays that we want for the game, and we're collaborative on that. Who calls the plays on Sunday that's pointless, right? It doesn't matter. Hey Bill, you write me a speech. You write me a speech, and I'm the one speaking it. Do you really matter?
Well, I mean, it matters because that's what people lock into the speaker, right? That's where they think the words come from, even though that often is not the case. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of ghostwriters in music and a lot of other things. So even when remember that it was the funny thing is, wasn't that the big knock on Eric Bieniemy supposedly, right? Well, it was one of the big knocks, I guess. He doesn't call plays, right?
Yeah.
We've seen lots of non-play callers on both offense and defense get opportunities and be terrific head coaches in some cases, even though they weren't, the play caller. But as you just mentioned, and it's with very few exceptions, it's an extremely collaborative process. You have the occasional situation where someone's such a guru genius, whatever, that, other people just sort of stand back and watch them work. But that's not how it usually works. Partially because being an NFL head coach is, like trying to pilot a helicopter and, with the other hand, remove, a tumor from someone's, temporal lobe. I mean, it's an incredibly difficult game day process. It's an incredibly difficult game week process to get a team ready to play another NFL football team. And if you've never done it before, even though you've seen it done hundreds and hundreds of times, you have to know you can trust your staff, right? You have to, right? You have to know you can trust your staff. So when someone gets a chance, even just to interview, forget that even getting hired, but gets to be interviewed, people say, oh yeah, there's interviewing person to interview, blah, 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 blah. They're checking a name off the list, or they're doing it to gather a little intel or for future reference. And I'm not saying there's nothing to that. I won't say there's nothing to that. But if you talk to enough NFL people, we realize that they don't bring anybody for interview that they wouldn't at least consider for the job, right? Are there times when they're satisfying a rule? Sure, of course. But if that person goes in and blows their minds, that person can still get the job. Once again, obviously Mike Tomlin stepped down, but the famous example. So they brought in Rivera to check the box, right? Now they're compliant, and shortly thereafter they bring in this very young defensive backs coach. Speaking of non-play callers, who's come up under Tony Dungy and is everyone knows he's headed somewhere. In his days at Tampa and just a few years shortly before he's in Kansas State. They bring in Mike Tomlin to sort of feel him out. They don't really think he's going to get the job, they want to learn about him. They're very big on talking to young coaches, right? Which makes this particular hire so weird. But they like to talk to a lot of young coaches. That's been a thing for 50 plus years, right? I mean, that's their thing, is talking to young coaches. And sometimes the young coach, I mean, Bill Cowher was a guy that didn't have a long and extensive play calling resume. Noel was an O-line guy who, I mean, you think Paul Brown let somebody else call plays? I mean, I'm just going to. So it's funny, right? When people talk about, a place where this guy won't be a coach for 20 years. Most likely will not be the coach for the next 20 years or 15 years. But the Steelers are looked at as the model of consistency in coaching hires. And almost none of those guys are play callers.
I got a question, Bill. The great Sean McVay that everybody loves, was he calling plays in Washington, D.C. when they was all there under Mike Shanahan? No, I don't think he was.
It was, yeah. Well, I mean,
because you had Kyle Shanahan there, you had Mike Shanahan there, you had all these guys.
Gruden himself mostly, right? It was, he listened to McVay because he realized he was really smart and really, really good. I mean, shout out to Jay Gruden. If nothing else, he knew how to put the staff together.
That was a crazy. Well, didn't he get a lot of those guys from when Mike was there first, right?
He inherited some of them, right? He inherited some of them, and he brought in a few more. But he had the LaFleur brothers, right? He had Kevin O'Connell. He had McVay.
Yeah, all-star staff is crazy.
Yeah.
And a lot of them got jobs before becoming full-time coordinators on other teams. They got jobs off of being quarterback coach, being wide receiver coach, being pass game coordinator, right? Like, because they were all on the staff together. They all couldn't call plays, right? But they all were smart, and they contributed in different ways. Where the NFL, listen, if you're a bright mind, they know who you are. They know who's the who,
right?
And what you do. They know what you do. Then they can find you. This is why reason why Shieldhouse. It's the reason why Shieldhouse. The reason why Shieldhouse was so popular, even though he never called plays, was because people know. They know it's the league, right? They know who they should be focused on and who they shouldn't be. Yeah. So
a shockingly high number of the names being bounced around in this particular cycle are guys I have. It seems like fresh and recent scouting notes on, including Nathan Shieldhouse and Davis Webb. I broke some of these guys' names down. It seems like
guys were literally just playing football, not really.
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember when Nathan Shieldhouse first came to U of I, right? Played for Zook, and he's got a lot of the same qualities. I mean, Brian Johnson a few years ago was a hot name, and he's cooled off now. I remember watching him at Utah, right? And he played for Urban Meyer when Urban Meyer was at Utah, and I think he followed right behind Alex Smith, if memory serves me correctly. So a lot of these guys are, like I said, pretty young. But people know, one, I mean, the NFL is about evaluation, right? And it's not just players being evaluated. Everybody's getting evaluated. People know who the best locker room people are, right? You know who the best, who the best clubhouse attendants, who are the best, everybody, who's the best security guy, right? So when Nathan Shieldhouse was a quality control guy, people were noticing him, right? This guy's really sharp. This guy spots things. This guy's doing this. This guy's doing that. And so he moved up frighteningly quickly. And then, we just talked about Davis Webb, who and Sean Mannion, right? I think 2-3 years ago, Mannion was a backup in the league still. I think Webb just finally hung it up in 2017 or 18 himself. So these are guys who are playing a handful of years ago. A lot of the guys that they'll be talking to are guys that literally played with them, right? They knew these guys, a lot of these guys as teammates. And when you are looking at these guys, you just mentioned how young, Declan is. I mean, because he started coaching, he was still in college, right? He was a college volunteer assistant, and he also was coaching part-time at a high school, starting in his sophomore year of college, which is wild. But I mean, he's a super bright guy, and he's a grinder. I mean, he is the kind of guy that you probably will have to tell him, hey, go home. I mean, like, he'll be the guy who's talk about first in, last out. That's one thing about him. He's a guy who's in the facility, and I hope he has an understanding family. because now it's going to get worse, but clearly the NFL has recently decided to, hey, it's time to get younger, right? Look at the average age of the offensive coordinators in the NFL, and maybe that's why David Shaw can't get a sniff. Maybe they think he's too old, but I mean, outside of shout out once again to Mike McCarthy,
Tom Monken, right?
And Tom Monken, right? Tom Monken and Mike McCarthy holding it down for people who can join AARP, but everybody else, can barely rent a darn rental car. I mean, it's wild how young a lot of the offensive minds are in the NFL.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So let's transition a little bit to on the field. And we got to talk about the Senior Bowl. Again, Bill, you're still there. I just got back from the Senior Bowl last night, I should say. And, man, who's some guys that you would say stock up for right now, like guys that you felt like, let me just say this. Forget stock up. We did that last time. Who made some money this week, in your opinion? Is he there?
Almost nobody. There's nobody didn't have at least.
Okay, go ahead.
Didn't have at least a rep, a good rep in there. But the guys who were the most consistent, right? Mm-hmm. I'll start with the big news. Obviously, is Tyron Montgomery, right? The guy who tried to walk on at LSU and COVID-19 sort of derails that. Goes back home. He has a younger brother who's a quarterback. They're tossing the ball around the backyard. His brother's like, "Hey, you should try football." He does the flag football thing, gets a chance to even try out for the Olympic squad, but since he would have to relinquish his collegiate eligibility, which I'm not sure why that is. But so he says, thanks for the offer, but no. Puts together a bunch of clips, uploads them to Instagram. Somebody who knows somebody says, hey, check this out. He gets hooked up with a coach who's originally at was it Nicholls State? Nicholls State. Never actually sees the field really. Gets a chance, like he would have been would have been right before the first game of the season. Gets hurt, loses his spot, but at least he's being introduced. He's learning the game. He's most importantly, he's figuring out how to put on his pads. That was big at Nicholls State to learn to put on pads. Then that coach moves to another location, gets promoted, but it's a promotion that takes him down. Right, it's down level of football, but up in a position. Brings him with him, and the rest is history. Plus, he also ran out of D1 eligibility, so he couldn't continue to play at the FCS or FBS level. He had to go to either D2 or D3. And once again, connections. People who know other people. He ends up being recommended to John Carroll, which, as I mentioned before, 40 different people from John Carroll have worked in the NFL in the past, or either the past or the present. So it's not like John Carroll doesn't have a pipeline to the NFL, but it's just normally not on the playing field. It's usually guys who are in the front office and coaching. It's a bunch of guys. I mean, most famously Don Shula, who came from John Carroll. So John Carroll has I was shocked that people didn't seem to know about John Carroll University. With all of the people who come from the NFL from John Carroll, I thought everyone at least knew the name, but I guess I was wrong. But they have a long and established connection to the NFL at John Carroll University. But like I said, he's going to be one of the first people with a chance to be actually drafted in many, many years. He was very, very sudden. Eddie Royal, for those who are old enough, was a lot of who I saw. He's surprisingly nuanced as a route runner for a guy that has only played 2.5 years of organized real football with pads on. The hands and look at the he knows diamond releases. Shout out to his coaching staff. But he knows how to stack guys. He knows how to turn guys around.
The name that popped in my head when I watched him play, watched him practice, was Stevie Johnson, wide receiver from the Buffalo Bills. Back in the day, just the way he was so good at getting off the line. His releases were just some of the best. I think Stevie Johnson was one of the most underrated receivers that ever played in the NFL. And Ty Montgomery came into the Senior Bowl as one of the most underrated guys that people didn't know about. Only been playing football for 2.5 years. And like you said, now everyone knows his name.
A few of us knew him, and shout out to my man Brian Gavon, who we started talking about him way back in like maybe September, October. But he, I mean, obviously people say level of competition, blah blah blah. But if you watch this kid, John Carroll, and yes, I know he's playing as a bunch of guys who are going to be assistant principals at high schools, and guys who are going to be hedge fund managers, and guys who are going to be advertising executives. I get that, right? I get the law clerks. I get that's who he's playing against. But you could see what he was doing and how he was doing it, right? He wasn't just running past everybody, though he was probably the fastest person on almost every field he stepped on. You saw him winning other ways. He wasn't just purely running past everybody. You could see, and you saw his package of release moves. I think that's maybe the most impressive thing, is that he isn't just all speed. His ability to use route tempo and deception is shockingly good for a guy that's this new to the game. Absolutely shocking, right? That he's able to do some of the things, and that's Colton Hood, right? I'm not going crazy. That was Colton Hood, right?
That is Colton
Okay,
Hood,
so I mean, that guy Colton Hood's probably going in the first 40 picks.
Yeah.
And if he does well at the combine, he's probably going in the first 27 or 28 picks.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously not every rep was this clean. I mean, nobody's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely still needs to get stronger. He definitely still needs to learn more about what defenses are trying to do. Luckily, one-on-ones, free him up from having to read defenses and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's still areas of growth, which you would expect from a guy who's been playing organized football with pads on for 2.5 years. But yeah, obviously he's the story, right? He's the biggest story. But he's not the only guy who I think proves something. I'm going to mention a player on the other side of the ball who I had watched and, kind of liked, but he's somebody, as we used to say old days, came out of a bag, is Kyle Lewis. I watched Kyle Lewis at Pitt and thought, yeah, good little player. This guy who showed up here at the Senior Bowl is, I don't know what they did, what they said to him, what he's taking. Something's changed. This is not the same dude I watched for a couple of years at Pitt. Like, this is a different guy. Or he's more intense or something. Like, somebody turned up the heat on him. He almost didn't lose a single rep. He made some tremendous plays on the ball. He was incredibly sticky in coverage, and he was hitting people. I mean, as hard as anybody hit people down here at Mobile. I mean, they've dialed back the physicality. I mean, when I started coming back here, coming here years and years ago, before it was even, at Hancock,
Whitney Stadium,
yeah, it was a Lab Peoples, and then it's been a few different places if you go back far enough, but it used to be that was like football, it was like now I understand it, like they're trying to be more protective of people's health, but amongst the few hard licks that were handed out, he had one of them. Jacob Rodriguez, and of course Bud Clark, when we're talking about in a minute, actually passed out some actual licks, and so Kyle Lewis, shout out to him. There were people wondering.
Kyle Lewis, I was just Kyle Lewis, I was just about to mention him. He stood out. He absolutely stood out. Yeah, he absolutely stood out.
He won probably 90+% of the reps he was in. He only I mean, everybody gets beat, but he didn't get beat very often, and didn't get beaten very badly. And some people say, is he a safety? I mean, nowadays, some people say bigger, stronger, faster. No, the average weight of linebackers has gone down consistently for almost 20 years. I mean, when's the last time you saw a guy look like Pepper Johnson play linebacker, right? Levon Kirkland, right? I mean, I'm just pointing out that no, not everyone's getting bigger, stronger, faster. Linebackers are getting smaller. It's hard to find a 245-pound linebacker in the NFL. There's still some left, but not many, right? 246, 240, but 260, 255. Those guys are gone. They're those guys are playing with their hand in the dirt, right? Those guys aren't linebackers anymore. I mean, it used to be almost every team, with a few exceptions, had at least one 250-pound linebacker, and that started happening in the 70s, right? You start seeing. I mean, Butkus played about 250, right? And then, like I said, some of those guys were. I mean, Levon Kirkland entered the league at about 272, coming out of Clemson.
Yeah, today Levon Kirkland would be a D tackle. He'd be 3 tech.
Oh, he'd be an undersized 3 tech nowadays. Yeah. But so not everybody. So no, linebackers are actually getting smaller, particularly will linebackers. It's not at all. like Cato June, who was coaching here at the Senior Bowl, he was a safety in college.
Mm-hmm.
He put on about 10 pounds, and he, you know, he and John Mobley and a few other guys sort of helped to invent the modern will linebacker. You know, I mean, you go back to the Steelers. I mean, they had similar guys. I mean, obviously, you know, Lambert played most of his college career about 211 pounds and played most of pro career about 218. They listed him probably about 220, but he was, I don't know if he was probably in the neighborhood, 217, 218. And Jack Ham, who was running one of the first really, well, he wasn't one of the first, but he was truly a great coverage linebacker. He covered wide receivers down the field. And he played in the 220s, 225, 226, 224, you know, in that range. But now, like, and those guys were still kind of thought of as undersized for their era. But now 217-pound linebackers. I mean, De'Aaron Buchanan, right, when he's coming out of Washington State was a safety, and they, you know, moved him up to linebacker. And so now you see that happening a lot, where guys who are either on that border. I mean, even a guy like Derek Brooks, who a lot of teams wanted those days to move to safety. He said, don't. Like, if you draft me and you try to make me a safety, I'm not going to play for you. So he ended up forcing, you know, his way to a team that saw him as a true will. But yeah, is that Dunker?
Yeah, it's Duncan. Yeah,
Dennis Dunker had some really good reps.
He did. I thought he made a lot of money this week. I've been telling everybody with ears, man, he's going to be a guard at the next level. They played him at guard. You know, they played him at guard during the week, and he played some tackle too. But he
and some center guard. Even, which didn't.
Yeah, he got some snap. Yep, he got some center snaps. He spoke to us while we were there and told us that they've been playing him at guard and center, and you know, obviously got some reps at tackle. But the thing about him is like his technique. You know, is really good. You know, a guy coming out of Iowa is going to be well coached out of Coach Ferentz. You know that he's going to have some nasty to him. You know, he's country strong. And I'm looking at day 2 for Jennings, second round, pretty much high second round. He is going to make some offensive line coach very happy when they draft him. He told me, which I thought was funny. He said he didn't even, when he first got to Iowa, he had never even, he didn't know how to do a pass set. You know, he said he didn't know how to do a pass set, so he didn't even know what it was. So shout out to Iowa and that you know, Coach Ferentz and that system, and you know, being able to show this guy. Apparently, the Ravens' new OC spent some time in Iowa as well. He has a relationship over there with Coach Ferentz, and so you know, maybe Jenny Duncan joins the Ravens this year. We'll see. There's quite a few Iowa Hawkeyes coming out this year. Yeah, I think they got 3 eligible linemen in the draft. So
yeah, I mean, Logan Jones looks good as well. They got a few.
Yeah. And they did get the what's the name of that award that they received for
the Joe Moore.
The Joe Moore, yeah, they got the Joe Moore for being the top offensive line in the country, and it was well deserved. Obviously, a guy I couldn't stop raving about was Ted Hurst. I told you off air that I appreciated you giving him his you know, his flowers, man. Like you could see he really enjoyed you kind of talking him up there. Good kid, good, you know, good head on his shoulders, but unbelievable player, right? Unbelievable athlete. He went out there and proved it for people who had doubts of, well, can he do it against elite competition? Well, I think he showed that. I think he showed that he can do it against pretty much anybody, you know, and that he probably had the most impressive catch the weekend with the one-hand catch in tight coverage. So, but yeah, as I just said, his Bill Carroll giving Ted Hurst.
I'm not discovered. I remember discovered. People apparently didn't know how good you are. You can go forever. I'm glad you're finally figuring it out. Okay, I've been a fan from jump.
Love that.
Shout out to Valdosta State.
Shout out.
Because once again, I mean, he was dominant at Valdosta State. Dominant, right? I mean, if he'd stayed at Valdosta State, I mean, it would have maybe made people go to Valdosta State more, and maybe would have helped some of his teammates there. But I understand the opportunity to go to Georgia State, a bigger opportunity. I think he's the Sun Belt Newcomer of the Year when he first got there, if memory serves, on offense, when he first got there, up from Valdosta. Body control, strength, long arms, big hands, just sucks the ball up, utterly fearless. No issues at all with going over the middle. No, he'll go wherever the ball goes. Mm-hmm. And, I heard people try to compare him to George Pickens. He's not quite that kind of athlete, but he's a more solid. How do I put this? Trying not to dig a hole for myself, but you won't get 3 a.m. phone calls about Ted Hurst. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like he's the kind of guy that's going to practice his butt off. If you tell him to be on special teams, he'll do it and do it at a high level. The 49ers would love a guy like him, right? I mean, right? The Rams. Oh my God, the Rams.
I don't even want to think about the Rams with Ted Hurst. Jesus. Come on, Bill. What are you trying to do, man? You trying to put him back in the Super Bowl? Oh man!
But he is. He's a Rams wide receiver. I mean, that's what I realized. I mean, he is. He's a Rams wide receiver. Right, because he's going to run okay, but he's probably going to run the low 4.5s, which is fine. Which is like Rams wide receivers are between about 4.52 and 4.6.
And he's 6'3", so I mean,
and now 207 pounds. He got to Valdosta at the 180s, 185, 186, somewhere in the 180s, and he's put on some fantastic weight. He looks strong. Mm-hmm. He looks like a box safety, like a big old strong safety. He looks like a slightly slimmed down Steve Atwater, but more athletic. No offense to Steve, but I mean his body control is awesome. And he tracks the football. I don't know if there's anybody who tracks the football better than him in this class.
No,
there might be some people who are right there with him. I don't know if there's anybody better.
That's true.
And I'm so glad that people are getting onto him, and he has that what I call competitive speed, right? So there's guys who will definitely time better than him, but I've seen, guys with strong, like the guy who's mostly drew the coverage against him in this game is a track guy with a strong high school track background, and that guy was struggling to keep up with him once he got going because of his length. He's not going to have like a blow your mind. He's long legged, so those guys take a while to get to top speed. But boy, once he's rolling, because I mean, once again, back to Jerry Lee Rice, right? People forget how big Jerry was. Jerry was kind of lean, and there were years where he dropped down to the 190s, even later in his career, just to feel quicker. But look at that! Look at that!
Yeah,
right.
Just running away from dudes.
He's not going to run 4.4, but. I mean, it's hard to find reps or tape where he gets caught from behind. Like once he's
got what I like to call like sneaky speed. Deceptively fast. It's 4 steps, right? Mm-hmm. He's a 300 intermediate hurdles guy, right? Right? You know what I mean? Like Plaxico Burress was a guy. I mean, he's obviously not kind of tall, but once Plaxico Burress took a while to get to top speed. But once he got to top speed, catching Plaxico was a problem, partially because he was taking it up, 3.5 yards per stride. Mm-hmm. And Ted's another long leg guy. He's probably has a 35-inch inseam. I mean, he once he gets going, once again, fast guys don't catch him from behind once he's going. Mm-hmm. Coach, what's your thoughts on Ted Hurst?
I love it. To me, this is. I think he has remnants of a Ted Ginn Jr. when it comes down to open field stuff, like getting gone from people. But then he has the hips of a smaller wide receiver. Because if you see, it's like some of his routes that he's running, like the comebacks and even the bridges, the routes that he's running, like right here, like look at that. Like most clumsy or clunky type of wide receivers that are taller like this would fall over like a baby giraffe into the defender, and it's probably an interception, right? But his body control is crazy to stay in phase to catch the ball almost every time. Like you never see, like I don't see him trip at all. He's getting hit by multiple people, but he's staying in stride. staying able to catch the ball. And then the other thing is like Bill was saying, just by that little clip, you can see the humility of him just wanting to get better and go out and show what he's able to do. And I just felt like, hey, especially at this day and age, wide receivers that don't come in with diva type of tendencies, or you don't pick them up early, I felt like, hey, this guy could take a program or organization to the next level. So I hope Sean McVay's not watching this and he hear Bill talking about Ted Hurst. So I don't want that. But the good thing is we did play them this year, so we won't play them next year. So
there you go.
Yeah. So
hey, man, Lamar Jackson needs Ted Hurst.
Right.
What are you talking about, Sean McVay?
Sure. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying,
Declan needs him.
Right, I got you. I'm not disputing. I'm saying the type of receiver. I mean, Puka
you're right,
had a lot of
the
same, question marks, right? Oh, he's not that fast, and he's kind of a bigger bodied receiver, but he's not 6'4". For some reason, the magic number seems to be 6'4". Like, people forgive you all the other stuff once you get to be a certain height. So 6'2" and change in the case of Puka, and 6'3" is not quite tall enough to be thought of as a true big-bodied receiver. But he can do big-bodied receiver things, and as you just pointed out, Coach, he can do smaller receiver. Boy, if you put him in the slot and you've got a number one on the other side, he's going to do stuff to whoever it is. he's going to make some people's lives difficult, because he can overpower a lot of guys. Like, he's got a little bit of everything. He can his release moves, he can beat you with quickness, even as big as he is, or he can just decide to boom. Like, I've seen him just shed guys, right? Just get off me. And you don't know which one he's going to do. Like, it makes your life an absolute nightmare, right? Because if you come to press him, right? Because it doesn't work out. Oh, speaking of making money. I mean, Mr. Banks made bank.
Yeah, my God.
Speaking of making money, Caleb Banks.
Banks made bank. Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Hey, it should be bankroll. That's it.
Yeah.
Golly.
What's up? Yeah. Give us some thoughts on Mr. Banks, Coach.
Man, I know we look at the mock draft rankings and whatnot, and we looked at him as being early second round. I don't know if that's still the case,
first.
Man. He may creep. He may definitely be in the first round definitively after what he's done. Nasty streak, fluid in the hips, and you don't see this from guys. He's 6'6". Like he has power like he's a 6'2", 6'3" and a half guy. The guy is 6'6". To be able to get that much leverage, most guys you see is a struggle, and their arms are out here. This guy's underneath people's pad level and driving them back. They cannot reset at all. And then the other thing is his conversion from speed to power and vice versa. Oh my gosh! Like to see that in the interior. Oh my gosh, man! I'm just looking at, like, hey, if he gets to a team that has two bona fide edge rushers, it is, oh my gosh. We talking a double-digit sacks given up by a team if he gets to the right team or the right scheme to where they can say, hey, look, all right, man, just go wreak havoc. Because, like, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so who is that right team? Who, Bill, in your opinion, or Coach? What's the team that you think he would? It would maximize his talent, maximize the value he brings.
You got it, Bill, or you want me to go?
Oh yeah. Well, welcome to Pittsburgh. I mean, that's easy. Yay!
Well, welcome to Pittsburgh. Dang, didn't you just get Dark Harmon last year? Greedy.
Yeah, but that's Harmon is a very different kind of player. The thing that's crazy is when you stand next to him, and I mean, he's obviously incredibly large, but he's not soft. When you a 335-pound man who looks like he has maybe, I don't know, 16% body fat, maybe, like, it's wild how he's put together. It's absolutely wild. And of course, I asked him about people he compares himself to. And he mentioned Chris Jones. So you've got a supersized Chris Jones.
There you go. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah. So are the things he can work on? Everybody has things they can work on, but I mean, the things he already has, like if he gets even slightly better, it's going to be a problem. If he stays exactly as he is, he's going to be good. But if he gets even a little bit better, I mean, I think about guys like John Henderson, right? I think about
Big John Henderson.
I'm trying to there's very few people like him. But when you think about gigantic people with great movement skills, I mean, there's only a few of those because, God doesn't make many of those, right? God just doesn't hand out that size and that kind of like ability to change direction and bend. Right. How many dudes knock off, he just like spin? I mean, how many dudes his size? How many 335-pound human beings have a smooth spin move? Yeah, I mean, it's just, it is. It's absolutely nuts. Look at the closing speed. Well, okay. Right. At some point, the 335 got him, but he had a good. but the first few,
it's the acceleration. It's not the long. Like he can't.
Right. He had four really good steps.
Yeah, 4 really good steps. After that, it's just
Yeah, well, that's what the 335 got him, but still, like that, there's gonna be plays where that 4 steps is gonna be more than enough. If you're Kirk Cousins, it's not going to take him 4 steps to get to
you. No, absolutely not, man. He is a game wrecker. Coming into the Senior Bowl, I had him as a low first round pick. I had him as like in the 20s. I still think he's somewhere between pick 20 and 28. But again, just like last year, we saw some guys, get hype, get pushed up the board because of good. Because of good off seasons, right? Good pre-draft processes. We've seen Walter Nolan go at pick 16. We could probably see the same thing with Banks. He could sneak up into that upper echelon of the top. I don't know if he can go as high as top 10, but maybe somewhere between 12 and 20. I don't think I don't see top 10, but he could get in the top 20 for sure, inside the top 20.
My team, Matt, I don't want him to go here, but if he does, it's kind of over for a lot of teams. The Houston Texans.
Oh, jeez. I think I actually had him to Houston in one of my earlier mocks.
If he ends up in Houston, I'm gonna be heated because oh my gosh,
Houston, we have a problem. He ends up in Houston.
It's a problem, yeah.
Yeah, he listen, I know Ravens fans would like to see him here. The Ravens don't have the edge rushers that you're speaking of to take the pressure off him. But Mike Green, we still don't know what Mike Green is yet. I think I'm high on Mike Green. I think he's going to take a huge step this year under Jesse Minter. I think he's going to just that coaching is going to help him tremendously. And also the second year, right? That second year jump that you get from not having to go to an NFL combine, not having to do a pro day, not having to do all of these interviews and stuff. You can just focus and come in ready for football. And that makes a tremendous difference for a player going into their second year. So Mike Green is a guy who will definitely take that step. And then if you throw a Caleb Banks in the middle and Travis Jones, and apparently Matabike got some good news today. That defensive line could be scary. I mean, think about that. Caleb Banks, Nnamdi Matabike, Travis Jones, and Mike Green. that could be real scary for a lot of people. And not to mention, I think they would add another edge rusher. But that Pittsburgh, if he went to the Steelers, that would be scary. Because you got T.J. Watt and Alonzo Highsmith, like that would be crazy. Anyone else that you guys thought stood out to you this week?
Oh, yeah. Bud Clark. Yeah, well, right. But Bud Clark, obviously there's a famous quote attributed to both Dizzy Dean and, of course, also Muhammad Ali that it ain't bragging if you can back it up. Now, Bud Clark never stopped yapping. right? He had his mouth going the whole time, but guess what? He had his feet, his hands, everything else going as well. He had, I think, about 3-4 interceptions this week. He forced a fumble. He batted down about 4 or 5 passes. Just ran routes for people, frustrated people. He can play safety. He can play nickel. He can play corner. Bud Clark had one of the top 3 or 4 weeks of anybody here. Just terrific. I mean, so Mr. Hunter, right, from LSU is probably the next guy we should talk about in terms of just who helped themselves the most. But Bud Clark was incredible.
Yeah.
Right. He just baited the quarterback into a throw there and breaks a break on the ball, snatches it, all hands.
I mean, this is what the NFL is looking for. Guys with ball skills, right? Because it's rare, right? Like the days of the Ed Reeds, we haven't seen those type of guys in a long time. Guys who just are magnets for the football. So if you are a guy who has ball skills, then
yeah, he's got 15 career, between interceptions and pass breakups combined, defense, 15, I think, in his career. So he's around the ball a lot. He does have hands. He will hit you. He's not the biggest cat in the world, but he will hit you. There wasn't a lot of pad popping, but he had one or two of the bigger hits this week, along with the aforementioned Mr. Kyle Lewis and of course Jacob Rodriguez. But his coverage skills were better than I'd realized, and I liked him on tape. But now he showed me some stuff down here that I hadn't seen on tape. And maybe that's just because, the way they play defense, he didn't get a chance to go just flip his hips and run in phase a lot. I mean, he played a lot of positions, more where he was backed off and things like that. But yeah, he could stay in people's hip pockets and tremendous instincts and tough and, an irritant, right? He let people know after he made a play, he let them know about it. So yeah, he's the kind of guy you love to play with, but hate to play against.
And this is another guy you just kind of alluded to who had a big week, and that's Lee Hunter, D tackle from Texas. I mean, Texas Tech in general had a big week, in my opinion. I thought Rodriguez really showed out. Romello Height did well, but this kid right here, I mean, yeah, he was making plays. He was penetrating. He was splitting double teams just like he's doing right here.
If it weren't for Caleb,
he was as advertised.
Right. If it weren't for Caleb Banks, that's the D tackle we'd be talking about. But
this class is loaded, by the way. D tackle, because think about the guys we haven't seen. Like Dominic Orange, right? Big Citrus,
Big Citrus. Was here, but
like Peter Woods obviously wasn't there, right? And think about all the other guys who that'll be drafted that wasn't there. It's an insane interior defensive line class.
It is. Corleone Young also supposed to be here.
Corleone, yeah.
In fact,
what's your thoughts, Coach?
Yeah, this was going to be the next guy I mentioned was Lee Hunter. I felt like, hey, we got a chance to really, really get up close and personal with him when it comes down to what he's able to do. I just like by his initial stalemate of the center at the point of attack is something, man. That right there is half of the battle. Right, not getting knocked back, or either basically saying, "Hey, look, center, I'm going to take the attention away from you." The other thing about it is, I like about he's not just a pop and then kind of long arm you. It's a pop and let me see where you're going, and then once I see where you're going, I'm gonna fight off and I'm gonna go try and make the play in the backfield. And I just felt like this guy showcased that enough to where, hey, look, if there was some kind of skepticism about him being graded where he's graded, he eliminated all that kind of any kind of skeptics. He confirmed his particular status in his ranking. So,
yeah, 100%. And I know there are some of the teams that were interested that you could see they got very, very excited about him, and rightfully so. Like everything he did. I mean, once again, there were definitely everyone had some reps. I mean, he had some reps where he got stalemated or even got beaten, but he had way more good reps than he had bad reps. Jake Slaughter, I think it was somebody. I have to go back and check, but I think had a couple of good reps against him. But for the most part, he had a great week and showed up and showed out. So yeah, Kyle Lewis amongst the linebackers had a fantastic week. Zion Young has some interesting quotes when we spoke to him, but he is that no nonsense. He's not going to test off the charts super well. He's like a better version of like Alex Okafor, right? His testing numbers are going to be just okay, but he really knows. And he has a smaller repertoire of moves, but my God, does he know how to use those moves? I mean, it's the old Bruce Lee line. I do not fear the man who knows 10,000 kicks. I fear the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times. And that's kind of how it is when you're watching Zion Young. He really only uses about 3 moves. He's got a bull rush that's really, really good. Occasionally he'll get long arm stab and like a club rip, whatever. But that's about it. That's about it. He's like a 3-move guy. But some guys Randy Johnson was a 3-pitch pitcher, right? So if those 3 really work, I guess you only need 3. Oh, and that's more, right? Where's that?
Mm-hmm. This is Zion Young.
That is Zion. Yeah, there's Zion. Yeah, I remember that was on Dave JC. I think that was on over JC. Yeah, I think that's JC Davis. He's pass rushing against it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the bull rush I was talking about. Look at his back, right? Look how flat his back is. He clearly knows how to generate power.
Mm-hmm.
So while his physical testing at the combine is probably going to be just okay, look at how he knows. He really knows how to generate power, right? And look at this. Look at the pop out of his stance, right?
Yeah, he came up. He got low too.
Comes straight towards initially, right? And then and like I said, flat back was, right?
Yeah,
that's where the power is. When you play with a flat back like that. Yeah, that's where you're gonna be trouble. And he's long and he's powerful. Like I said, his upper 4.7s or maybe in low 4.8s. He's probably gonna, because of his length, he's probably gonna do 23, 24, 25 reps on the bench. But I bet he's a guy who's got good power clean numbers, right? I bet he's got good squat numbers. And he, like I said, when he flattens his back, now he's probably going to be more the other guy than the guy, if he gets to the right situation, right team. But he's going to definitely produce, even if he's the other pass rusher. He'll be a very productive other pass rusher. He's an upgrade over Adisa Isaac, if you're wondering.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah, he'd be a nice little partner with Mike Green. What you think, Coach? Zion Young. I know a lot of Ravens fans do.
There you go. Right, because Mike Green's
bodied guy. I like his 3 moves. His 3 moves don't really bother me that much because, again, if you can't stop all 3 of them, it is what it is. The one thing I do like is his motor. His motor is where it needs to be. Right. And I believe, again, that's why you have coaches to kind of teach them different things. Even guys, veterans in the pass rush room could give them a couple more moves and whatnot. The only thing that I'm going to question is, all right, when you have, to the backside contained, are you going to chase upfield or are you going to stay home? That's the only thing I'm going to ask, because there have been times to where it's like, hey, okay, look, I need you to retrace or I need you to shut it down and surf. Is he going to be that type of player? I want him to get home on the passing downs, but when it's run downs, are we going to give up the edge because this guy going to go up too far to up the field because he's worried about getting a sack? So that's my only thing when it comes down to his ability and some of the football IQ stuff. Other than that, I like the player himself. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing. I like Zion Young. I like his aggressiveness, right? I like his explosiveness off the ball, his ability to bend and get small for a bigger guy. is something that definitely jumps off the tape. It's just the way he plays, though, with the aggressiveness. I just like guys who are aggressive, especially when you're up front. Because you got to be right. It's a car collision on every play, and you got to be aggressive. The most aggressive man wins. He's gonna bring effort, and I do agree with Bill that he'll be a great Robin to someone's Batman, and you already got another young edge rusher on your team. He'll be a good compliment to that guy. Just to mention a few guys though, like we mentioned, Jacob Rodriguez. I mean, forced fumbles, interceptions, the same thing he does in the games. He showed up this week in practice. Kyle Lewis, we just talked about from Pitt. I mean, I think he introduced himself to the world this week. There's a lot of people who don't watch Pitt football, but they probably should because this kid was unbelievable this week.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, man. So I like what he did. Really good player.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't need any,
especially if you like defense
to watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
What were you saying, Coach? Sorry.
Yeah, if you needed any kind of motivation to start watching other teams besides your own, this particular Senior Bowl and some of the athletes let you know, like, hey, you should start watching some other teams, even if it's just within the conference. Just watch some different teams to see, like, hey, how some of these guys are impacting games and whatnot. Because I can almost assure you, nobody probably knew anything about Red Raider football until they was in the playoffs, and people was like, oh, wait a minute, this team is for real. So again, just start looking across, even if it's just within your state. Hey, look, some of the different teams that's playing, because you'll start to see some of this talent. So when they show up in the Senior Bowl, you're basically looking to confirm their talent as being as such or not.
Yeah. Another thing that another person I wanted to throw out there is Kevin Coleman from Missouri. I thought he really showed himself well.
That's one of my guys.
Yeah, he made some money this week as well. I thought he looked good. His routes were clean, competing with the ball in the air, showed ability to separate, which is what you want to see. And I like him. Missouri is pumping those receivers out, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say that pass rushing coach and that wide receiver coach, they making some money. I look for them to be in the NFL soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, man.
Yeah, well, Zion's coach was there. Yeah, Zion's coach was there, so got a chance to briefly speak to him. The thing about Kevin Coleman, right, and my comp for him is Emmanuel Sanders, is he can be more than one kind of receiver, right? He can be that, crafty, quick, whatever it is, guy that's in the slot. But he can also go outside and win. I mean, he can do things at every level of the field. He could be a guy that you throw those little drag and shallow crosses to, or now routes to, and then he creates almost like a open field, broken field kind of punt return situation. He can run routes well enough that he can beat guys, in those intermediate areas. He can run whip routes. He can run, circus routes, all those like shifty, shaky routes. And they can also just beat guys on fades and go balls and post routes. He's got a really diverse arsenal.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're gonna finish up this pod with a mock draft. We're gonna try to do a speed mock here.
Okay.
We're gonna rotate. One man goes, then the next man goes, and the next man goes, and we're just gonna get through this and hopefully share some of our. You get an insight of what we think about these players based on how we draft. And Bill, I'll let you go first. Age before beauty, sir. I'll let you go first. Coach, I'll let you go second, and then I'll go third, and we'll just keep going like that.
Well, if first, I assume it means the Raiders. I mean, that's probably
Yes, sir.
yeah.
You
In
are first.
the least surprising pick, Yes, in the least surprising pick of the 2026 Draft Nerds mock draft. It is, of course, future president of the United States, Fernando Mendoza. He is one of the most impressive human beings in America. I mean, he is.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, his level of polish, his level of polish, both as a player and as a human being.
It needs to be
right.
studied.
His level of polish is off the charts.
It almost feels not real, right? And I think that throws people off because it's him, it's genuine, but it just almost feels not real. Coach you up with the Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the second pick of the Draftnerds mock draft, the New York Jets select Cardinal Tate, wide receiver, Ohio State.
Oh,
Whoa, okay. I didn't see that one coming. 2 Ohio State receivers.
Well, here's my thing behind it. I just, the Garrett Wilson thing is just like, hey, it's sad to this point. Where it's like, hey, okay, I feel like if I can get a quarterback this cycle or somebody to say, hey, be a bridge guy for me, I just feel like it's a little bit more appeasing because now I have 2 wide receivers that are bona fide guys, and I feel like you take an immense amount of pressure off of Wilson himself by bringing this guy in there.
All right. With the third pick, the Arizona Cardinals selecting the Draft Nerds mock draft, Spencer Fano, tackle, Utah. I can see this guy playing guard or tackle. He's a good offensive lineman, and that's what the Arizona Cardinals need, good offensive linemen, and a lot of them. Because if Kyler Murray is the quarterback, or whoever's the quarterback, they need to be protected. And if Kyler is the guy, he has failed to play a full season in a long time. So they need to get that figured out. And I think Spencer Fano will be a fantastic pick here. Coach, you're back on the clock with – I'm not Coach. Bill, you're on the clock with Tennessee. Not Mike Vrabel. This is Robert Saleh.
The good news about being Tennessee is the good news about being Tennessee is you can. Yes, the good news about being Tennessee, you can use absolutely everything because your team is so bad. But the good news is the one thing you do have in place is your franchise quarterback. You've got that, right? And so there's a lot of different ways to help a young quarterback. You can help a young quarterback by building a better defense. You can help a young quarterback by giving him. And so the Titans being terrible can use literally everything. But Robert Saleh needs his Nick Bosa, and he's going to go grab his Nick Bosa. Ruben Bain from University of Miami.
Wow. Robert Saleh getting Ruben Bain. You know what? Ruben Bain definitely feels like a Saleh type of guy, right? Saleh's just like manly man, and and Bain is Bain and Jeffrey Simmons. Good Lord. Okay. All right, Coach, you up with the John Harbaughs. You up next with the John Harbaughs, the Giants, the G-Men. What do they do?
Hey, I don't think they're thinking about this. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Let me check. No. Give me two seconds.
Okay, 2 seconds.
Oh man. Yeah. If this falls like this, I would love for them to take Caleb Downs here. However, if Arbel Reese is there still, I think they go Arbel Reese to pair with Bobby O. Let me get with the 5th pick of the mock draft, Draft Nerds mock draft, the New York Giants select Arbel Reese.
Okay, I like it.
So they got a coverage guy with a tackling machine. So now it's hey, look, along with that front line as well, I think now the defense they don't have really many holes. So they should be able to contend a lot better when it comes down to the Giants.
All right. So Todd Monken's first draft as a Cleveland Brown, and he has a decision to make. He needs a wide receiver and he needs an offensive lineman to block for Shedeur Sanders, who he said not only did he went with the Ravens, but he also tried to recruit Shedeur when he was at Georgia. So with that being said, with the 6th pick of the Draft Nerds mock draft, the Cleveland Browns select Francis Malinois, tackle guard, Miami. All right. Coach, you up with the Washington Commanders?
Bill.
Bill. Sorry. Bill. That's because I feel Bill is a coach. Bill feels like a coach to me. Mr. Bill, you there, sir? We can't hear you, Bill. Your sound is out. No sound for Bill.
Yeah.
Try something now, Bill. Yeah, there we go. There you go. We can hear you. No, we're losing you now. No sound. Oh, there we go. I can hear you laugh. All right, there you go.
Yeah. So, yes. So, once again, there's one of those situations. I mean, the teams that are picking early usually have earned it. But there's a lot of. Oh, you can't? Okay, let me figure out why that is.
We can hear you now, Bill.
Oh, let me figure out what's going on with that. Give me a second.
We can hear you now. Drop him down, drop him back, bring him back up. Bill, if you can hear us, we can hear you now. We can hear you, Bill.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
So the Washington, they're deep, a lot of different things, a whole, but they probably will. They gave up a lot. So one of the things that's that defense. Yeah, I can hear you. One of the things that they're going to need to do is fix that. We just talked about the things they've lacked and to get pressure, interior pressure. Well, they can now get a lot of interior pressure because Peter Woods from Clemson is joining the Washington Commanders.
All right, Coach, you up. The Saints. The New Orleans Saints. Who that nation?
Yes, who that nation?
If you're speaking, Coach, you on mute.
With the 8th pick in the Draft Nerds mock draft, the New Orleans Saints select Caleb Downs, safety, Ohio State.
Caleb Downs. Oh, you picked Peter Woods, right, Coach? I mean, Bill?
Yes.
Hold on 1 second. Let me just refresh this because I actually all right. First pick was second pick was Connor Tate. Third pick was Spencer Fano. Then we had Ruben Bang. Then we had who did the Giants take? Oh, Reese. Yeah, Francis Malinois to the Browns. And then here we go, Peter Woods to the Browns. There you go. All right. Now, who did you pick, Coach, for the Saints?
Caleb Downs.
Oh, nice pick, actually. All right. I'm picking for the Chiefs with the 9th pick. And with the 9th pick, this is a tough one. But with the 9th pick, the Kansas City Chiefs select Jeremiah Love, running back, Notre Dame. Explosive athlete, add some juice to that backfield, help Patrick Mahomes out, especially coming off a knee injury. It might be good to hand it off a couple times this year. All right, Bill, you're up with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yes, there we go. Another team that could use some thing on defense. Right? On defense, yes. I mean, their offense is fairly solid. I mean, their offensive line could still probably sprinkle in a little more depth, but there's not an offensive lineman that truly makes sense right here. But there's definitely a player who fits a need, who's staring them right in the face, and can do a lot of things in that defense. Just to make sure I'm not going crazy, Arvell Reese is still there, correct?
No, he went to the Giants.
Oh, he did go. Okay. Well, then Jeremiah Love is gone, so that means that the move is Jermod McCoy from Tennessee.
Ooh. They do need corner bad. They need corner.
They have not had a truly excellent corner in a very long time in Cincinnati.
In a very long time.
Very long time.
All right, so you're up with the Miami Dolphins.
All right. I already know what the play is. Scroll up. All right. With the 11th pick in the Draftnerds mock draft, the Miami Dolphins select Mansour Delane from LSU.
Love it. They need a corner bad as well. And now the run on corners has started. The Dallas Cowboys are up now with pick 12. And this would be a dream scenario for Mr. One, Jerry Jones. And we won't take long to make this pick with the 12th pick. The Dallas Cowboys stay in state and go with the Texas Tech edge rusher, David Bailey. They went out and got 2 D tackles, right? Via trade. All right. They got Quinnen Williams. Right, and then they got Clark from the Packers. Now you lose Micah, and then you get David Bailey. I think you're doing pretty good. Because Jerry said he wanted to improve that interior defensive line, because he felt like it was important. And then now you do both. Now you get David Bailey. I think it's a great pick. All right, that means Bill, you're up first now with the Rams.
The Rams are a team that obviously could use a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of the other thing. But they're solid in most places. But I guess the run on corners kicks back in or begins again or whatever term you want to use.
Kicks back in.
Because they have a chance to add to their team one, Avion Terrell from Clemson. And he's got a real ability to stay in phase down the field. He's probably going to run high 4.3s or low 4.4s.
Yeah, I like
He's got
him a lot.
some length. Yeah,
I like him a lot.
Hipster.
All right, Coach, you up with the Baltimore Ravens? You get the Ravens pick.
Oh man, no pressure, right?
Don't let us down.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh.
It's so funny because there's an Auburn guy staring you in the face.
Right, right. But it's I don't want to be a homer though.
Nah, don't be a homer.
Because I would be like, yeah, you mean the Auburn guy. No, yeah. With the 14th pick in the Draftnerds mock draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Makai Lemon, wide receiver, USC. I just feel like I wanted to go guard here. I just feel like, hey, what he's gonna give us, I just believe like this would be the move, especially if we're talking about trading some of our wide receivers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially if we'll see what happens with Bateman, but yeah, Makai Lemon he's really good. All right, so I guess I'm on the clock with Tampa Bay. Coach, Bill, while I'm doing this, what's your thoughts on Makai Lemon and to the Ravens? What do you think about the fit?
I mean, he's fantastic. He's my wide receiver one. But I can understand why he might not go first overall. He's not the biggest, and he's probably going to only, I say only, probably going to run the high 4.4s, which is still plenty fast. And, lots of guys have had nice careers running in the high 4.4s. But he's tough. Like, his toughness is really what impresses me. Somebody even comped him to like sometimes I have Hines Ward is made me chuckle a little bit.
Yeah, somebody said that yesterday.
Yeah, which that made me chuckle. He's not quite that, but
No.
he is. But he is a surprisingly tough receiver for a guy his size. And for those who are old enough to remember guys like Gary Clark, which most people aren't, like he's got some of the same qualities that made Gary Clark so good back in the day.
All right, pick is in. Not to cut you off, Bill. The Buccaneers are going to go linebacker Sonny Styles from Ohio State. When you watch that last game, which was essentially a playoff game for Tampa Bay, man, linebacker stood out. They really need linebacker help. I thought about an edge right there. They could use an edge rusher as well, but they really need an linebacker, especially with Levante David nearing the end of his career. All right, so Bill, you're back up with the Jets.
Excellent. Well, the Jets know exactly what their situation is and who they are and what they are and are not. And somehow Jordan Tyson is still staring them in the face. So this is one of those run to the podium situations.
So he took Carnell Tate already for the Jets.
I didn't say Carnell Tate. I mean, I know he took Carnell.
Oh, you taking both?
Yes.
Okay. We're going double dip at receiver.
Have you seen the Jets?
So we go Carnell Tate and Jordan Tyson and Garrett Wilson. Woo.
Now you've turned a weakness into a strength. Boom.
There we go. All right. Jordan Tyson to the Jets.
Hey, if I'm the Lions, I'm sprinting with no shoes on to the podium.
Mm-hmm.
And we taking Keldrick Falk here to pair with Aiden Hutchinson.
There you go.
It's a good pick. All right, I'm on the clock with Minnesota. I got no pressure. They just fired their GM, so no pressure here for me. This is interesting because they could go in quite a few different areas here. The corners are gone. Something that I think they would have probably been interested in. This is where it gets interesting if the board falls this way. Because they could use a running back, but obviously the one running back who's a first-round pick is not available. They could use all right, got it. With the 18th pick, Minnesota Vikings select, and they need this bad. And it's like one of the guys I like. All right, Colton Hood, corner from Tennessee. All right, Bill, you're up with the Carolina Panthers at 19.
Well, the Panthers are in the process of making that jump, right? They were a team that was a bit of a pleasant surprise. And one of the things that has been the most pivotal in that is the development of their quarterback, Bryce Young. His offensive line isn't bad, but once again, they could still use talent. Francis Mayaga is still available, so not anymore, he isn't. Francis Mayaga from the U of University of Miami, the U itself.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, he is gone? Darn it.
Yeah, he went to Cleveland at 6. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
He should not have been available. That makes perfect sense then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then it is going to instead be Oliavega Ione from Penn State. Still going to continue to build that.
I like the way you announced that enunciation. Nice. All right, Coach, you're up with the star, Dallas Cowboys. They went David Bailey with their first pick. What do they do here for their second pick?
Yeah, let me go ahead and get Ty Simpson. No, I'm joking. Don't do that. I'm just trying to upset a couple of the Cowboy fans that's probably watching. No. With the 20th pick in the Draftnerds mock draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Caleb Loma, tackle from Utah. I just think this plagued them later in the season. I believe they try and get younger and better across the O line. So
great pick. They went guard last year in the first round. They come back this year, go tackle. They've been in, one thing Jerry's not afraid of is investing in the offensive line. So, all right, Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's see what the Steelers do here. It's pretty obvious, right? With this 21st pick in the Draftnerds mock draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Ty Simpson, quarterback, Alabama. Got to get your quarterback, Bill. Got to get your quarterback. And it ain't the dinosaur that is Aaron Rodgers. Mike McCarthy has a good track record of developing quarterbacks, and now he gets one to develop in Ty Simpson.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than Kenny Pickett. I'll say that much.
All right, with the 22nd pick with the Chargers, Bill, you're back on the clock.
Indeed, I am. The Chargers are a team that can go in a lot of different directions here, but positional value, the talent of the player, and the deep and abiding love that the Harbaughs and Jim, particularly Harbaugh, has for for building a team around playmakers means that young Mr. Cassius Howell, part of the house of just freaks that they had at Texas A&M on defense this year, is going to now make his way to give them that true mismatch pass rusher, young mismatch pass rusher that the Chargers could really use in Los Angeles.
All right. I like it. All right, Eagles. That's you, Coach.
Man, I'm in the pickle right here because I just think they don't need a linebacker. I don't think they would take that. In this case, who is their right tackle? If I'm, yeah. All right, we'll do it. So with the 23rd pick in the Draftnerds mock draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Caden Proctor, Alabama.
There you go. Offensive line. Help on its way. All right. So earlier in this draft, the Browns went Francis Malinois. And I got the Browns again, and I'm going to go Casey Concepcion. Getting Mr. Todd Monken, the receiver, to help out his quarterback, whoever that may be. All right. The Bears, pick 25. That is you, Bill. The Bears.
Indeed. And once again, another team that got a little further than I think a lot of people may anticipated and got there a little faster than people may anticipated. Well, this is, it's not quite a sprint to the podium, but it's a pretty brisk walk to the podium to bring one CJ Allen, a linebacker from Georgia, to the Windy City.
I like it. Okay. Coach, you got the Buffalo Bills.
Hey, we not even running. We just gonna pull our card up like this. we not even turning it in. With the 26th pick in the Draftnerds mock draft, the Buffalo Bills select Denzel Boston, wide receiver, Washington.
I knew Denzel was coming off soon.
Yeah.
All right. That puts the San Francisco 49ers on the clock here. And that is my pick. And the 49ers actually have some interesting options here. But I will say this. God bless George Kittle. But man, boy, he cannot stay away from the injury bug.
Nope. Here it comes.
They need a young tight end, a guy that can go in that Shanahan offense and give them something, some juice, and also be that future eventual replacement for George Kittle. And Kenyon Sadiq is that guy. Welcome to the Bay, Mr. Kenyon Sadiq. All right. Houston Texans, that would be you, Bill.
Oh my gosh. Oh, the Texans have so many wonderful options staring them in the face.
We talked about this, Bill. Do me right.
We actually did. We actually did.
Oh my God, it's about to happen. Hold on, we did just talk about this. This is about to happen. Oh wow.
Well, I mean, the Texans are not far from being a team that's ready to hoist the Lombardi Trophy, right? Some teams are worried about plugging gaps and building on weaknesses, but some teams say, let's take a strength and make it ridiculous strength, make it foolish, frightening strength, make it terrifying, unrelenting strength, make it Darth Vader crushing people without touching you by using the Force strength. And that's what I think might just happen here, because young Mr. Caleb Banks is going to find his way into the middle of the line. And while he might only play 55% of the snaps as he sort of ramps up to playing NFL football, those 55% of the snaps are going to be 55 awesome snaps.
Wow. Okay, Coach, you're up with the Rams, LA. They went corner earlier.
Okay.
With Avion Terrell. They're back.
Okay. Got it. All right. Cool. Scroll up for me. I think I'm going to. All right, you can go back to me. And then these are tackle. Oh, dang. Oh, not D tackle. It's O tackle. Okay, go up. I'm sorry. My bad. Oh, my bad. Hey, with the 29th pick in the Draftnerds mock draft, the Los Angeles Rams select Max. I don't know how you say his name. Iheanacho.
Close enough.
Look, I just believe, like, hey, look, at times they were having problems with they don't get the ball out quick. I just believe this was a thing that they could say, hey, look, if we need to, we can change our offensive line, and I think he gives them a lot of depth when it comes down to it. So,
all right, I'm on the clock with Denver, and speaking of making a strength, Denver is going to go Caden McDonald here, D tackle from Ohio State, and just continue to add to that unbelievable defense. And they're just thrilled that he's still here on the board for them.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Bill, you're up with the New England Patriots.
There are players that feel like they fit really well on a certain team, and this player feels like a guy that would love playing for Mike Vrabel, and Mike Vrabel love having him on the team. Akeem Mesidor from Miami is productive, smart. He's a older prospect, which is why he's still on the board at this point, but he can play inside. He can play outside, but he is good against the run, and he's fantastic as a pass rusher. He's going to take that, that role that they've given to sort of similar types of players in similar types of defenses, and I think he's going to fit perfectly.
All right, Coach, we got the last pick of the first round with the Seattle Seahawks. Your boy Mike McDonald. What'd you do?
all right, go to O lineman for me.
Mm-hmm. Tackles or just O-line?
Go to guards. Because we got a weak spot on there. Oh, my guy. Hey, how you doing, buddy? All right. I don't care that this may seem like it's a reach, but if he's there, and I don't know when they're picking again, with the 32nd pick at the NFL. I'm sorry, the 37nd pick of the Draftnerds mock draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Emmanuel Pregnon, guard, Oregon.
That's a nice
I
pick.
just felt like Bradford has been an issue for them. And I just feel like they don't want to.
He has been an issue.
So I just feel like, hey, they gotta address it right now. So
that's a good pick. Okay, so I have the first pick in the second round, which is the last round. Who did it just take? You took the 2 receivers. That's right.
Yeah.
All
Yes.
right. I'm going to go here, and I think after trading Sauce Gardner, you got to add somebody to that secondary. And so with the 33rd pick, the New York Jets select Keith Abney, corner, Arizona State.
Okay, yeah. One of my guys.
All right, Bill, you're up with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yes. Well, once again, as you said before, sometimes when a team is terrible, it really opens your eyes to every opportunity because what can't you use? They can use a lot of things, but the combination of positional value, the fact that this is not a strength of the team, and the fact that they got to face some dudes at quarterback and wide receiver, we're going to go out and get Brandon Cisse, the cornerback from South Carolina.
Like it. All right. Robert Sala and the Tennessee Titans belong to coach.
Hey, who did they take the first time?
They took
A hairdresser, didn't it?
Ruben Bain. Yes.
Bain. Okay, cool. Hey, we're gonna stay on those defensive routes, and we're gonna take AJ Halsey from LSU.
Ooh. Hey, Sala said we're gonna build this thing. Okay, all right. So I'm the Raiders with this pick. And we gotta restore some stuff, man. We got the quarterback down in Mendoza, but we gotta keep building and keep building. We will, because with the 36th pick, the Draftnerds mock draft. Make sure I want to do that. Yeah, I do. The Las Vegas Raiders are going to go with Monroe Freeland, offensive tackle with Georgia. You got to protect that investment you just made with the number 1 overall pick. So, Bill, you're up with the Giants. John Harbaugh. What does he do for his second pick? He already went Arvell Reese with his first. What does he do here with the second pick?
Well, people just mentioned protecting your investment.
Mm-hmm.
Their investment, particularly, is in 2. People are already starting to talk about like the whole bringing back the old Randy Moss, Jason White Chocolate Williams commercial with just 2 good old boys with Jackson Dart from American Fork, Utah, and everybody's favorite powerhouse gremlin in Camp Scatterbo sort of being a package together, the Scat Pack. And one of the ways that you can help grow them as players is to protect them both better. Jennings Dunker, who can play tackle, can play guard, and maybe center in an emergency. Just talked about a guy who's helped himself tremendously here at the Senior Bowl. I think some people saw him as maybe might make it to the 3rd round. I think that is now no longer a thing that will happen. I think he's going to be a 2nd rounder, and now he's going to be a Giant.
Oh, he broke my heart. All right. That means you're up, coach, with the Houston Texans. Houston.
Let me see. There you go. Scroll up for me. Keep going. Holy smokes. My goodness.
A lot of talent in this draft, man.
Yeah, it is. All right. All right, let's go back all the way to the top. Let me see what the needs are. Okay. Hold on. We got a D tackle already. We got one in earlier.
Yeah, you
all
took
right. Cool. This is good. All right, with the 38th pick?
Yeah.
With the 38th pick, the Houston Texans select Chase Besantis, guard, Texas A&M.
Smart. Good pick. That's a very good pick. All right, I'm back up with Cleveland. Damn, I've selected all of Cleveland's players so far. I don't know how this keeps happening. All right, so I took Spencer Fano, and then we took Casey Concepcion. Now, what do we do here to keep the party going? I think we continue to invest in that offensive line. Got to protect that young quarterback that you have there. And I think they go with where is he at? These rankings are all over the place. But I think they go. Look at my guys are all over the place. Okay. Let's go Keelan Rutledge, guard, Georgia Tech. That's a great pick as far as getting Spencer. Getting Francis Malnoa, and then you get Keelan Rutledge. They got two. Both of their starting guards are free agents this offseason. So
right, yeah, and he's another powerhouse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of the way they like it over here in Cleveland. So, all right, you're up, Bill, with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes, sir. Let me just confirm something. Did anybody take TJ Parker?
Nope.
Not yet. Now they have. TJ Parker is a guy that came in with a lot of expectations.
Mm-hmm.
People like him to be the next great pass rusher out of Clemson. He didn't ever quite become what people thought he might be, which is why he's not a first rounder, but the talent is all still there. And if you saw him at the Senior Bowl, you could see why it was people were so excited about him when he first came into the campus of Clemson. But he doesn't have to be the guy, right? He's in a situation where they've got guys who are ahead of him, and Karlaftis has turned into, as I predicted, into a double-digit sack guy, so he can get a chance not to be the other guy. Mm-hmm. And I think he will develop over time, perhaps even into the guy himself, maybe down the road. But if not, he'll be a high-end other guy.
Coach, you're the Bengals.
Yeah. Again, this is one of those. Hey, I'm not even running up there. I'm just flashing it. With the 41st pick, the Cincinnati Bengals select Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker, Texas.
Great pick.
Great pick. It's so crazy though. They took two linebackers last year.
They took Demetrius Jackson from South Carolina, and who else was the other one they took?
It was the other the kid from
I'll have to look it up.
Oh, Clemson. Barrett.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, so I'm up with the Cincinnati Bengals. The New Orleans Saints. Who did they take? They took Caleb Downs, right? They took Caleb. Yes, they took Caleb Downs. Okay, so Saints are going to go here with you got to get younger on that pass rush. The Saints are going to go LT Overton, edge rusher from Alabama. All right, up you, Bill, or the Dolphins?
Yep. Well, the Dolphins are another team we could use a lot of. For a team that was not that long ago considered to be a contender for the Super Bowl, they could use a lot of everything. But sometimes you have to stick to your board and just go with the best player available. This is that situation. Bring us Mr. R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma.
I like it. All right, Coach, with the Jets.
What did they take earlier? They took wide receivers, right?
They took two wide receivers and Keith Avenue.
And a corner?
Yep.
All right. Let's see what their needs are. What are their needs? Keep going.
Needs are a quarterback, D tackle, wide receiver, edge.
All right. Well, since he's there, right, staring me in my face, let me go ahead and get Mr. Miller from Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
I think he'll pair well with their D line, what they have already.
All right. And that brings me with the Baltimore Ravens, and you already took Mekhi Lemon. So I'm sure all of Raven Flock will want me to address the trenches here, whether it be offensive or defensive line. And let's see what this draft has to offer us. All right. With the 45th pick in the Draftnerds mock draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Lee Hunter, defensive tackle, Texas Tech. You go Mekhi Lemon, do you go Lee Hunter? And they would just keep working their way down until they fill up that offensive and defensive line and get that defense back together. And they got that receiver to pair with Zay Flowers, and they doing good things. All right, so that is now on you, Bill, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So the Buccaneers gave up a sometimes shocking number of big plays last year. They got into a lot of shootouts, right? Now, that makes for fun viewing, but it's not good for your coaching staffs, marriages, longevity, stomach lining. So we're going to help with all three of those things by bringing one of the more underrated prospects in the draft. And I think the combine will change all this, but the combine hasn't happened yet. So people are still kind of sleeping on this player. But we're going to grab Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, who can play all over the secondary, is tremendously talented. And Todd Bowles, a former safety himself.
Nice. All right, Coach, you got the Colts.
Man, this would be a match made in heaven. Reason why you keep this kid in state, he just moved up the road a little bit. So with the 47th pick and the Draftnerds mock draft, the Indianapolis Colts will select Elijah Surratt, wide receiver, Indiana.
All right. That was Indiana. That was Indianapolis' first pick of the draft, and this is also Atlanta's first pick of the draft. Welcome to the draft, because they traded their picks, the Colts this offseason and Falcons last year. So Falcons now, they need receiver, corner, tackle, center, and defensive tackle. At this point, they can go in so many different ways. They do have Drake London. They need to replace Kyle Pitts. They don't really have a bona fide guy on the other side of Drake London. So there's some things that they can do to spice it up. So you thinking about Stefanski and what he did and what he's got going on. See, there's a line. They could definitely use their offensive line was solid though. They had a good line last year. They use some more of that. Let's check out the corners. Yeah, you got AJ Terrell over there. You could use another corner as well. You got to get a weapon for whoever the quarterback is. Defense is solid. I think we go offense here with this pick. And Atlanta is going to select. It's a little bit of a gamble because of the injury. But with today's medicine, you got to know this kid's going to get back healthy, and he'll make a dynamic weapon on the other side of Drake London. So we're going to go Chris Bell here from Louisville, wide receiver, and you pair him with what they got in Atlanta, and they may be able to have something dangerous over there. New coach, they'll be able to be patient. Bell should be good to go by training camp, maybe midway through training camp. You put him next to Drake London, I think you got something. All right, Bill, you got the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep. So the Vikings have, like a lot of teams we've talked about, a young quarterback. There's multiple ways to help a young quarterback. Now, their wide receiver core is very strong. The running back room is solid. They had got really ravaged at points last year by injuries, and it revealed some depth issues on the offensive line. It's not often that Northwestern has a top 50 pick, but they do this year. Caleb Tierney can play right or left side. He's probably going to start as a swing tackle. But if they get hit by the injury bug again, if Darasaw or anyone else gets hurt along that offensive line, especially at the tackles, Tierney is a plug-and-play guy. So we're going to bring him on.
Like that. All right, Coach, you got the Lions.
Let me see here. I took an edge last time, right? Yeah. Yeah. We are now waiting. I'll just scroll up a little bit. Scroll up. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, so we're gonna take the Lions are gonna take Blake Miller, Clemson.
Like it. That's a good pick. Blake Miller's a good player. All right, Carolina Panthers. Their first pick was Vega Ione. Good pick, offensive line. They could use some help on the edge. And the edge we will go. And with this pick, the Carolina Panthers select Joshua Joseph, edge from Tennessee. All right, you up, Bill?
Well, sometimes you just look at a player and say, there's a guy that went very close to the top of the whole draft, and this guy's almost the same guy as that guy. So if it's a guy that goes in the first 5 picks, and there's a guy who's now available almost 50 picks later, but he's almost the same guy, why not just grab that guy? Look at Chris Braswell II. He's almost exactly the same height, weight, and speed as Mr. Tate, who went always at the first pick. In fact, he slightly outproduced him, right? And you're paying a little less. I think he's going to have a similar impact as a player. So please bring Mr. Brazel from Tennessee, and we will put him to work right away.
All right, Coach. You got with the Steelers. They took Ty Simpson.
We took Ty Simpson first, right? I go up, scroll up for me, so I can see what the needs are. I think I know what I want already, though. Quarterback, wide receiver, guard. Oh, hey, how you doing, Mr. Lane? Yeah, if I'm the Steelers and this is how it is, in the 53rd pick, Pittsburgh Steelers select Jacoby Lane, wide receiver, USC.
DK Metcalf and Jacoby Lane. Good Lord. We're gonna need some corners.
Yeah.
All right. I'm up with the Eagles. And the Eagles went, where did they go with their first pick? They went Caden Proctor. Okay. All right. This is going to be, they can use an edge. You can use a tight end. They can use a guard, a tackle, a safety. This is a tough one because they got so many needs. Well, they don't have a lot of needs, but like they need some things. Use a tight end too, because I think what's the name of the free agent? Dallas. Dallas Goedert is a free agent. But Philly kind of just sits and just takes the best players. So let's go Kamari Ramsey here to the Eagles. They don't care, like they don't care about need. They'll just sit there and say, you know what, that guy's the best player. We're just gonna take him and we'll figure it out. All right. Chargers are up. That's you, Bill.
Yep. As I mentioned before, the coaching staff and the front office have a type. In that's true of most teams, but Los Angeles, you'll notice that they have a lot of guys with some similar approaches to playing football. A lot of guys who are smart but tough. They love that combination of smart and tough. Rashawn Slater sadly got hurt. Great student and a tough guy. We all famously know, obviously, that Justin Herbert had a 4.03. That's above an A grade point average at Oregon, and his last year there was a math tutor. How many guys playing the NFL tutored math? I mean, John Rochelle, I guess, in his days at Penn State probably did, but he's now an actual mathematician. I think he works for NASA or something now, but there's not a long list of guys who are like that. But now they're going to add another one. Dylan Thieneman from Oregon is a very smart football player, very tough football player, and he addresses the need. That secondary, well, we saw, right, can be had, as was just recently proven in the playoff and at times in the regular season. But he's going to help them to be that person who can erase some things on the back end.
Can you scroll up for me? Let me see what their needs are, man.
D tackle, corner, receiver, running back.
Hey, look, they go up the road a little bit. What is it? I think it's 95. I think it is, and they get their home state guy out of the University of Miami, Keontae Scott.
Oh
no!
I do love some Keontae Scott.
I want Keontae Scott to be a Raven so bad.
I want him to be a Steeler so bad.
It might not be in the cards just because that's the way the boards are going to fall, and the Ravens have probably bigger needs than a nickel corner. So can't have everything, I guess. All right, Chicago Bears are on the clock, and they had took C.J. Allen with their first pick.
Mm-hmm.
Some things that concerned me. It was concerning when I watched them in their last game against the Rams. One was that neither defense really put up much of a a fight in that game. It was kind of up and down.
Yeah.
The corners in Chicago were not quite.
No, they weren't the best.
They weren't the best. They weren't the best. And I do know that what's his name? Gordon was coming back from injury, and
he was hurt.
Yeah, Johnson missed most of the season this year because he was hurt.
Yeah, the best corner was a free agent find who had been around in Nahshon.
Yep. And he's a free agent.
But yeah,
do they bring him back? That would be the interesting.
I'm sure they're going to try.
They got cap space, so they probably will. But then the safety play, and I'm thinking like, who are they safeties? I know it's Kevin Byard,
who had a really good year.
He did have a really good year, but they could use.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem is you need more than one.
You need more than one. You need somebody with some coverage ability.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'm going to take Bud Clark here for the Chicago Bears. Love Weedy. We mentioned him as one of our guys who made money, and I think he made a lot of money. He does the one thing that the NFL is looking for, and that's take the ball away. He is a coverage safety. He can roam the back end. He has good instincts. He knows how to find the ball, and he got good ball skills when he does find it. Bud Clark here to Chicago feels good to me. I thought about maybe he's gone. Oh yeah, you did. You took Diamond already, so Diamond he's a beast.
Yep.
With Diamond gone, I mean, I like Michael Taft.
He's gonna go probably day 3. So yeah.
Yeah. So Bud Clark feels good here. I think he's probably risen to that point where he'll probably go day 2 now. Probably was going to go day 2 anyway. All right, Coach, you're up with the Bill, you're up. Sorry, with the 49ers.
So we earlier sort of talked about people finding their their Nick Bosa. Well, the 49ers have a Nick Bosa. The problem is that he is a Bosa, and because of that,
he is a Bosa.
The problem is that the Bosas just don't stay healthy.
No. They do a lot of good things. Just healthy is not one of them.
Not one of them, right? I mean, this is not my opinion. I mean, like this has been proven. We can pencil him in for probably somewhere between 7 and 11 games. So depth is now a very, very important thing. The good news is there is a Haitian Nick Bosa just waiting for you in this draft. So we're going to welcome young Gabe Yakis to 49ers. And he's not as developed in terms of pass rush skills as Bosa was coming out, but physically, just look at his body and imagine.
Who did we take?
Gabe Yakis.
Oh, Gabe Yakis, gotcha.
From Illinois, ILLINI. But he is powerful, explosive, still a bit raw, but the talent is obvious when you watch him. He's gonna have a really good combine too.
Yeah. He's one of those guys I think will be a better pro than he was a college player. Kind of how like Max Crosby, right? Like Max Crosby was good in college, but he was
really good in college. The problem is that people don't really watch a lot of East. But here's a fun fact of the Crosby brothers, right? His brother Miles was the higher rated prospect. Miles was a 3-star safety. He's now a professional model for the Ford modeling agency. But Max, who is a football player, was either a 1 or a 2-star, depending upon what service you went by. So he was the lower rated prospect of the Crosby brothers.
All right, Coach, you got the Texans.
Let me go ahead. We had some issues moving the ball. Let me go ahead and get Emmett Johnson from Nebraska. Woody Marks can't continue to try and do it all by himself.
Awesome pick.
You cooking? Okay. All right. I'm up with the Bills, circling the wagons, so to speak.
Yes, indeed.
They took Denzel Boston. My God, Denzel. I hate when my favorite players go to teams that that my team view as the ops.
Right.
But it's okay. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is out here in this cruel world. All right, Buffalo has got their receiver. They can use an edge rusher like really badly. Joey Bosa was like their best pass rusher on the edge, and he's getting up there. They could use safety as well, linebacker for sure. This is a great linebacking class. And I think we might go linebacker here. Do we go linebacker? I think they have to. The problem is there's so many good ones.
Yes.
This is so many good ones, and I'm just
good
thinking
problem to have. But yes,
the problem is I don't know who the defensive coordinator of the Bills is going to be. It's not Sean McDermott anymore.
It's not. But they clearly have a type because their new coach is also a guy who went to William and Mary.
Oh yeah.
Yep, Joe Brady was another William and Mary guy.
Yeah, he likes that. He like those guys, huh? All right, let's go with Josiah Trotter from Missouri. Athletic, can go sideline to sideline.
Yep.
Hey, who was that linebacker you were talking about on the show the last time?
There's a few. Let me see. You mean that's here at the Senior Bowl?
No. It was before the Senior Bowl. You mentioned the linebacker on the show. I don't know who. I can't remember. I think it was like a small school guy.
Oh,
You talking about Red Murdoch?
Is it?
I mean, I talked about Eric Hunter. I also talked about Eric Hunter. There's a bunch of good linebackers. This is a very linebacker-rich draft.
Yeah. Can't remember who you're talking about. But I don't see him. I don't know who you're talking about. Anyway, go ahead, Bill. You got the Rams.
Yes, I do. And the Rams are in a situation where they're essentially stacking players that they like. They have enough depth and enough, really, of everything that they aren't ever in like a desperate or bad situation, which is how you're supposed to build a team. Shout out to one of the quietly, best front offices in the whole darn NFL. And, while Les Snead is famous for the F them picks remark, he actually does a pretty good job with the picks he does have.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
And so we're going to welcome one Mr. Danny Denis Sauton to beautiful Los Angeles.
Now, who was that? You say?
Danny Dennis Sutton.
Oh, Danny Dennis Sutton. Got you. Okay.
But
you went all French on me.
I just went French on it, but yeah.
You went all French on me. I was like, ooh. Yeah, Danny Dennis Sutton. It's a good pick.
Hey, scroll up for me, Matt. Let me see what their needs are. And who did they pick last time?
They went. What team is this?
The Broncos.
They went. Broncos country. That's right.
I know they went defense first.
Aiden McDonald.
McDonald. That's it.
Yeah,
okay.
Aiden McDonald. Right. I think that was it.
Cool. All right. Can you scroll up for me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Y'all gonna do that for me? Cool. Scroll back up for me. And I think I know where I'm going. Oh, man. God dang, man, y'all. Do I do this? I think I do. I'm gonna take wide receiver. Go to wide receiver for me. I think I know what I'm gonna take. Yeah, this would be a good pick for him. I'm going. I think Cooper. Cooper's gonna be a better pick for me. Yeah, I'm going with the 62nd pick of the Draftnerds mock draft. The Denver Broncos select Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver, Indiana.
Like it. All right. I got New England Patriots with their first pick. I think. Where did they go? Akeem Messador. Okay. So they went edge with their first pick. Second pick. What do we do for an encore? I think the Patriots probably just take a good, the best player, right? Like, you're in the Super Bowl, you need a receiver really bad. But I have this sneaky assumption they're going to really make a splash in free agency. But this feels like I think this feels more like a Rabel pick. Michael Trigg is a guy I like a lot, super athletic, unbelievable. But Oscar Delp feels more like the Rabel pick here. So I'll go Oscar Delp. All right, that leaves the last pick to you, Bill.
Excellent. So when you have a chance to get someone, one, has a super cool name, two, is an enormous human being with, despite the fact that they've played a fair amount of football, still a lot of upside left, you kind of have to do it. Isaiah World from Oregon, first of all, super cool name, is an absolute giant. He's sort of like Nate Solder, but with a stronger lower body. You know, he's going to measure out at probably about 6'3" and 3/8, or sorry, 6'7" and 3/8. Sorry, he's going to measure about 6'7", 3/8, probably about 307 pounds, but with really good movement skills despite all that size. I'm excited about him. And he could drive up. It's not even far.
Who we going with?
Isaiah World.
Oh, yeah, I like Isaiah World. He's raw, though, but yeah.
He is raw, but he doesn't have to, play immediately.
Mm-hmm. All right, fellas. That brings us to our conclusion, our mock draft. Y'all let us know how we did. When you go back and watch the show, leave a comment. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you rocking with us. And that brings us to the end. Yes. And signing off, Coach Bill and me. Till next time, see you later.